right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys need to open up your notebooks to pages 271 and 272. And in your notebook, we are going to go through this slideshow. You are going to fill in on page 271 the major leaders of the war. So there are going to be a total of 15 statements, and you need to identify which of these major leaders had that statement been about. And then you're going to write the name down. And then on page 272, there are a bunch of pictures, and you need to identify who each picture is. All right? Here we go. So you're going to use this set of notes to complete these two activities, and all the answers are right here in this set of notes. Here we go. People you need to know, the important people of World War II. First up is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, which we know him as FDR. He's the U.S. president, 1932 to 1945, and he is the president when World War II begins. He's going to give the famous speech, "A Day That Would Live in Infamy." Next up is Dwight D. Eisenhower, U.S. General. He is the Supreme Allied Commander in Europe. Eisenhower, he is the American general who oversaw the Allied invasion of the beaches of D-Day in northern France. General Douglas MacArthur, he is a U.S. general, and he is the Allied commander in the Pacific theater of the war. He is going to have 2 bullets you need to fill out on page 271 in your notebook. He is the American general who led the military in the Pacific and oversaw the peacetime occupation of Japan. He also led troops in the Korean War in the 1950s, and he was fired from his post by the commander-in-chief. Okay, here we have Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister. The British Prime Minister, he's going to encourage the British people to hang on and not surrender when Britain was being bombed daily by Germany. Next up is Joseph Stalin, our Soviet dictator. Look at that mustache, that beautiful hair, thick, dark hair. All right, Stalin is going to have 2 bullets on the notes on 271. He led a nation on the Allied side of World War II. At the end of the war, his nation did not get along with the other 3, and a Cold War followed. That's in Standard 13. He was also an American ally in World War II, and yet he too was a brutal dictator. He was responsible for the death of millions of his own people. All right, Mussolini. Here's the picture of Mussolini. Should look somewhat familiar considering we've already talked about him. And Hitler, somebody who looks even more familiar. I'm sure you all know what he looks like. So first up, we're going to have Mussolini, and he's going to have two bits of information to fill out on your notes on 271. He is the fascist dictator in his country and overtook Ethiopia. And after he was killed, his body was hung upside down and paraded through the streets of his country. As for Hitler, he's going to implement the final solution, the Holocaust, and he's going to commit suicide as the defeat of his country became inevitable. So he too is going to have 2 points on your notes on 271. All right, our Japanese men that we need to know, we have General Tojo, and he's going to have the dark outlined glasses, And then we're going to have Emperor Hirohito, who is just the figurehead of Japan. He too wears glasses, but his are rimless. So it's just the glass with a piece going behind each ear and just the bridge. Nothing circling the glass itself. So first up, we're going to have Tojo. Tojo was a Japanese military leader, one of the leaders who gave the command to bomb Pearl Harbor. Then we're going to have Hirohito. He is the Emperor of Japan. Loyalty to his role as emperor is what led to many Japanese to refuse to surrender or offer themselves as POWs. All right, Harry S. Truman. He is going to be the U.S. president in 1945 to 1952. So he is the president of the U.S. at the end of World War II. Truman also is going to have 2 points on your notes on 271. He is the president who fired MacArthur. And he is the president of the U.S. who gave the go-ahead to drop the A-bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August of 1945. All right, last up here we have the Yalta Conference. This should be the last picture you need to identify on your notes or your pictures on page 272 in your notebook. We have 3 very important figureheads. Each of these 3 we have just talked about in the notes. You need to identify who is in this picture. So right here, who do you think number 1 is? Give you a hint. He's got a nice mustache, and he's from the Soviet Union. Here we have the President of the United States for our number 2. And last but not least, we have somebody here who's got a top hat sitting right here in his hand on his knee. And he is from Great Britain. So hopefully those keys should help you identify who these 3 are at the Yalta Conference. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that ends the flipped class video notes on pages 271 and 272. Next up, you are going to fill in a key people chart with all of these people telling me where they're from, what they are, like President of the United States or the Soviet dictator or the British Prime Minister, whatever their role is. And then you're going to tell me their importance. And then after we do this chart, you guys are going to be taking a quiz on these important people. And there are only 10 of them that I'm going to ask questions about. So that should kind of be easy on you. So if you have these notes completed and you have your chart done at the time I call for quiz time, I am going to let you use your key people chart on your quiz. So let that be an incentive for you to get your notes done in a timely manner and to get this key people chart on 273 completed as well. Wouldn't you like to use that for a quiz and hopefully get 100% on it? All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me or come see me at your earliest convenience, and I'd love to talk to you more about this. All right, see you guys on the flip side.